Hey guys, it's me, Coral. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've decided that I'm going to start reviewing some of the books featured in Paperbacks from Hell. You know, if I read them, I don't think it's going to be something that I really prioritize, but I'd like to do like a little casual series on it if I happen to read any of those specific vintage paperbacks. So this is going to be my first one, and I am reviewing The Gilgul by Henry W Hocherman. This was published by Pinnacle Books in 1990, so this is kind of on the cusp of like not really being vintage, which is surprising to me. It very much read like an older horror novel. It was pretty fucking ridiculous. But the cover is so good. The artwork is so great. In Paperbacks from Hell, Grady Hendrix tells us that this was actually photos of a sculpture that the artist created, which is so cool. And I would pay an extraordinary amount of money to see that in real life. It looks so cool. So, The Gilgul. This is about a man named David who is getting married to a woman named Karen, and they're both Jewish. So a lot of the book incorporates some things that I was really not familiar with, not being Jewish myself. There was a lot of like Hebrew words, maybe some Yiddish words, stuff like that I just I don't know, didn't know what they meant. Spent a lot of time on Google. Some of them were kind of explained, like in context, you could kind of figure out what was going on, but not all of them. So David and Karen, they're engaged and they're about to be married. The story is kind of told though by a man named Neil DeLuca. He is, or was, an anchorman, kind of like a journalist, kind of, and now he's like one of the top men at, I don't know, a TV company, I think, a news company. And on their wedding day, David and Karen are about to meet at the altar. Karen starts to feel sick, and when David lifts her veil up to expose her beautiful face, he sees the face of a corpse. And she says something in German, which is a language she isn't supposed to know. So it's everyone's like, oh my God, what happened? And lots of people see this. They see her face has turned. She doesn't look like herself anymore. But then she goes back eventually and reverts back to herself. So basically the plot of the book is trying to figure out what's wrong with Karen. Why does she go back and forth between being like a scary corpse lady when she's in her spooky old lady face? And I say face because multiple times it is described that she has an old face and withered hands, but perfect breasts. So the author definitely doesn't let you forget that her boobs still look great. And when she's in this old corpse form, she keeps talking about how she wants David, she needs to see him. And she tries to convince Neil DeLuca to kill David. That's what she needs. She needs someone to kill David. So I won't tell you any more of the plot, I guess, because I don't know, in case you want to read this. I just I don't know. This was not a good book. It was boring. And if I didn't want to start this series, I would have DNF'd this. It was, man, it took me, I think 9 or 10 days to read this. And it was like 340 pages. 350 exactly. 350 pages. So like that's maybe like 3 days of reading for me normally. I just like could not. I like dreaded picking this book up. It was boring and just completely uninteresting. There was some weird sex stuff in this, which like doesn't bother me. In fact, I really like reading that out loud to my husband so we can both be like, ugh. But I don't know, it's just like, it was uninteresting. The reason for Karen's like possession, I just like didn't care about it. I don't know. It was like a weird supernatural revenge plot that like didn't really have anything to do with any of the characters that were involved. And it was just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I gave this 1 star when I rated it. It was not very exciting. It was not very interesting. It really, like, besides that she's possessed by a demon, it really had like no good horror elements, you know what I mean? There wasn't like any suspense. I didn't care if Karen lived or died. I didn't care. And I don't know. It was pretty ridiculous. There's like one character who was diagnosed with AIDS, and he got it because some guys were like trying to teach him a lesson, and they were like junkies, and they injected him with blood that they got from a bunch of people like that wouldn't just like maybe kill you. And there's a lot of talk about AIDS here, like people, this guy who has AIDS, there's another character who's like down in the dumps, and he's like, I'm just gonna sleep with people and get AIDS hopefully and die. It's like, man, what the fuck? I don't know, it's very strange. Lots of boobs, lots of people, like lots of weird representation of people with AIDS, and I don't know. Yeah, a lot of it really surprises me that this was published in 1990, because it seemed like a lot of kind of old school ideas. And it could be that maybe he wrote this before 1990. Maybe he wrote this in the 70s and it didn't get published until 1990. I'm not sure, but it was kind of a shit roller coaster. So I don't know. This one, I can't really recommend it to you. It was fun to read like the really cringy parts, but other than that, it was just completely, I don't know, not entertaining in any way. The cover, this glorious cover art does not match the content inside this book. So 1 star from me. What a way to kick off this series, am I right? I'm not sure if Henry W Hocherman wrote anything else. I haven't seen anything else with his name on it anywhere. I don't know. So I don't know. That's it. That's all I have for you. I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching.